Turns out Iran does have WMDs. What's that? This end wokeness, by the way, if you didn't know, is a Russian poster. 1,250,000,000,000,000,000%. This account is ran by a Russian operative. Okay. Yeah, I know you guys say Ryan Macbeth, according to what was the Jack Pasova. I don't know if Ryan's analysis was good there. I think he made a couple of mistakes. I don't know if it was 100% convincing on that.
Holy fucking shit. Unbelievable.
What mistakes did he make? I think the biggest mistake that was made was probably the most compelling piece of evidence, which had to do with the fact that that account was posting, or that Jack Posobiec was either retweeting or posting within like a minute of the account posting, but it was because of how I think it was how the archiver worked. It just shows like when a tweet was archived or something like that, but it was, yeah. Jesus. Is Woo and Chill still a viable strategy? If you are, I guess, so leaving the realm of politics and speaking finance, if you have investments and you're watching all the news, we're all memeing, don't try to pull your shit out of the market and then jump back in because you're going to lose all your money doing that, okay? What the fuck is this? Is Elon dating a Jewish girl now? I don't get it. At Destiny, if you're concerned about further losses in the market, you can purchase a put to defend your position. A put option allows you the option to sell 100 shares of a stock at the strike price and time. They are expensive, but it's better than taking a bath for what could be years at a time. No. If you are a retail investor, all you can do is take a deep breath and hold. That's all you can do. Derivatives are not an effective hedge for retail investors because derivatives are going to be priced based on market conditions, okay? Do not think that you can just buy options and it's a free hedge because those are going to be priced accordingly. If you think the market is going down and the market is going down, everybody else probably thinks the market is going down. And the price of any derivative asset will reflect that, okay? Stop linking tweets. I can't load any of them, okay? Let's just, let's relax with this 46-minute piece of stolen content.
Basically, to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes, we went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons. He believes in dragons.
Did you triple force that?
And he also thinks that dragons, like I guess, like dinosaur type of animals, roamed the earth when people did. So this is the type of really, really bad information that's going out there.
This election was the first time they didn't really have control of the media anymore.
Because what?
Because of us.
Non-mainstream media.
Because of podcasts.
Podcasts. Selling tickets.
Because of social media. Because
you're
of X.
humanizing Trump like, well, he's human.
Yeah.
So why can't
They've been caught up in all this shit they've shoved down everybody's throat, especially all the Russia shit.
Imagine. Sorry, I don't want to get into this too much, okay? But shouldn't retail investors be buying up more now? If we believe in long-term returns of the market, things are slightly discounted now. No. While that is correct, the ability for you to buy more in a downturn implies that you had money that you could have invested earlier, which implies that you're trying to time the market, which means you're probably losing out more money in the long run.
Imagine a scenario where you've thawed a guy out from some frozen cryo chamber thing. He's been in there for like 20 years. And this frozen guy, well, he loves comedy. And so this guy is excited to finally be unthawed and to discover what the world of comedy looks like in 2025.
Oh, I just realized the markets are reality in a way. I said before, one of my biggest irritations about a lot of the conservative propaganda and misinformation is you never really have to confront it, ever. Because, like, at the end of the day, how many illegal immigrants are actually coming? I don't fucking know. It could be 20 million. It could be 20,000. It could be none. All the Mexicans could have left. And as long as there's still some in Miami, I'd have no idea, right? So it's hard. So you can lie about a lot of things that people don't, at the end of the day, see themselves. But the markets, The markets are the markets. What? I'm so sorry. Hold on. I don't ever, far be it for me to ever know more than the Wall Street Journal on finance, because I wouldn't. That is like the dumbest headline and then second headline I've ever read in my entire life. But I'm sure the article explains it. Wait. Does dollar cost averaging work? Here's what the numbers say. The popular investing strategy performs well during rising markets, but it lags behind another strategy during down markets. Well, yeah, no shit. That's why it's called dollar cost averaging. What? If you knew when the market was going to go up and you knew when the market was going to go down, you would just become a trillionaire. You would not, you wouldn't do this investment strategy. I'm sure they explain it more in this article though, but I'm fucking too lazy. I'm not. So.
The year of our Lord, and to discover what the world of comedy looks like in 2025, the year of our Lord. So you invite the guy to your house, sit him down on the Chesterfield, and prepare a televisual feast to get him up to speed. And you try to find a way to explain to this guy how this guy right here somehow is a king of both comedy and broadcasting.
He said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us and he won, and this is fucking great. And Joe Rogan believes in dragons! And Joe Rogan believes in dragons! Joe Rogan believes in dragons! 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 Dragons!
And you gotta explain to the freezer guy that you're sorry to be the one to tell him this, but we truly live in hell, and I feel that in my bones. And he's surely gonna want to get back in that freezer thing, but he can't, so instead he slices his own head off. Just a little scenario to think about. How the hell did we get here? It could have been great, but well, you guys know how the universe works. We're all just flying down an endless series of alternate realities inside a vast multiverse. And you can't really control which branch of those realities you are gonna live in. And, well, our wonderful reality is the one in which this guy was able to be crowned both the king of comedy and the king of broadcasting. And I was sitting here watching this clip of this insane, resentful, unhappy, angry, and unfunny old man hysterically ranting and raving about his belief in dragons.
And then you couldn't believe that. Watch the news.
Illusion. It's all a fucking illusion. All of them, when convenient, have said the exact same things.
Dragons are real.
While his personally curated group of friends, who he's pretty much hired to hang out with him, sit around subserviently laughing at his terrible attempts at jokes,
Doing the New York thing.
nodding along as he continues to spout the literal dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life, and putting on a master class on the warning signs of early onset dementia.
Fucking climate change. Wake up. No, it's arson, you fucking idiots.
I think to myself, there's no way anybody listens to this. I check the podcast charts. It's number 1. No, 2.
Dragons.
And it's listed as comedy. Oh, God.
Why do everybody keep saying this? Do you turn down the number of biter encounters? No. I would never, ever alter any of the original settings. That's sacrilege.
God, it suddenly all hit me how messed up this all is, and how this whole shit era of comedy kind of snuck up on all of us like boys.
Are you going to react to the Mehdi Hassan debate congressman on Israel? No! Because I'm slowly becoming an Israeli hater, okay? People keep sending me clips. I'm not going to watch it because I can't, my heart can't handle it. But did Dr. Avi say that he supported Donald Trump in the election because he was willing to give Israel a fucking blank check, carte blanche to do whatever they want? And now we're deporting Palestinian protesters in the United States? What? Why? Hello?
Boiling a frog or whatever. And I don't know if I'm just crazy, but I think this is actually bad. So I started thinking, trying to put the puzzle pieces together. Just trying to figure out, how did we even get here? And where are we going? And does it really have to be this shitty? Was it ever even not shitty? Like, what the hell is even going on here? And just like that, I realized it.
I was at the airport one time and I went to a Starbucks to get some coffee.
Stand-up comedy is fucking stupid. And I don't even mean this current shit era. I mean the whole thing. The whole art form, like the whole idea of it. It sucks. And it's worse than stupid, really. It's disgusting. And it should be illegal, maybe.
I hope I haven't offended anyone.
It just keeps getting weirder and weirder and further away from anything I ever thought was good. Yeah, this shit era of comedy is way past its expiration date. It's been fermented, fully soured, and is now completely putrefied. It's... how else can I describe this? We are way past the tail end of it, and we are dancing around in the steaming pile of shit that fell out of its ass. We've talked about this before, but everything has its cycle. You get that, right? Come on, a guy like you? I mean, there are guys out there who have already been talking about the cycles better than I can.
Intelligent human beings should realize that
Love this
everything has their cycle. They have their season.
I agree with this guy.
They have their beginning. They have their end.
Yep.
They have cycles.
I think I agree with
Planet
everything
Earth
he says.
About to be recycled.
Good. Do
We're
it.
on the threshold of the end of this civilization because it's about to be recycled.
Right,
Your only
I understand
chance to evacuate is to leave with us.
All right. Our lives have cycles. History has cycles. Culture, ecosystems. You see it everywhere, it's just obvious. You're telling me you don't see the cycles? What are you, drunk? Like all the time? Well, it's also obvious that this current shit era of comedy has reached its end. And wouldn't it be great if that next era could get started? Well, unfortunately, there are incredibly powerful forces keeping this bloated comedy carcass on life support, artificially sustained, and they won't allow it to die off and renew like it's supposed to. Disgusting. This whole shit era was really ushered in by Dame Cook, who was one of the first guys to...
No! We're going after our wonderful, the godlike comedian. Not the cookster, not Dane Cook.
figure out the scheme of using social media to get famous. This new technology shifted reality, opening up a new branch of the multiverse in which talent and, like, being funny became secondary to how well you could market yourself online. Or maybe I'm wrong and he's actually brilliant, I don't know. Who can be sure?
You ever wish you were a snake?
Not me.
Cool to travel around.
You know, there was a few guys that I saw that were like no-brainers. Dane was one. Like the shit that he gets through, the level that that guy was killing. Dude, he put the fear in God in guys that have been doing it for 20 years. We used to do Dick Doherty, rest his soul.
Wait, am I misremembering? I feel like everybody hated Dane Cook. Or maybe that was just like the hipster stand-up opinion. Or maybe I was just watching too many black stand-up comedians and I just couldn't get into the white ones, you know?
His comedy clubs, and Dane would have the headliner like pacing in the back.
Damn.
He was killing that hard, and he would be like, you know, I shouldn't have to follow that. There's no jokes here. It's like, well, listen to the crowd. There's something going on here.
So instead of wasting their energy on writing good jokes, guys began focusing on how well they could promote themselves on the internet. And then people started making these new things called podcasts too. And given the potential payoff, the low cost and low effort required to do all this crap was irresistible.
No, I like MySpace.
Especially for these lazy comedian guys whose greatest motivation in life is the fear of ever having to get a real job.
Fuck me.
And that marked the official beginning of the comedy podcast shit entanglement era, in which we are currently festering. Congratulations. Of course, nobody struck gold bigger than this genius, Joe Rogan. There he is. Yeah, this guy never had an original idea in his life. He really doesn't know anything about anything, but he does know how to copy a guy who already did it.
I don't know if he's going to address this in this video, but this kind of ties into a couple things I've been talking about. Actually, it ties into a lot of things I've been talking about. One of my biggest anti-capitalist takes, I mean, this isn't like capitalist or whatever, but I don't think companies should be able to acquire other companies. Like, no horizontal mergers, no vertical mergers. Every company should just do its own thing, okay? If you want to make iPhones, that's fine, but you don't get to make microprocessors. You don't get to make screens. You don't get to make the software. You just make one fucking thing and make it well, okay? Fuck you. And businesses shouldn't be made with the intent of just selling to a larger business, okay? That's cringe. We'd have to get into the weeds on that to discuss it more, but I noticed there's this like trend of everything to become everything. This was kind of spoken about, I think maybe me and Dan talked about it on Anything Else, where everything wants to be everything. Like, it can't be an app. Oh, and we watch the videos. Like, there can't be an app to control your lights. It also needs a social media feed, and it needs you to log in, and it wants you to post, and it needs to be on your phone all the time. And every single app and every single game and everything just has to do everything now. And this it extends to people to some extent as well, to where if you're an influencer, okay, right? It's not enough. You can't just be like a video game streamer, or you can't just be a comedian. You also have to host a podcast. You also have to do finance, and you have to talk about politics. And it's like everything has grown to encompass everything. And there's no like specialization or niche like things anymore. And now it's all about, it really is. It's all about like the influencer. I guess in a way, I kind of joked about this in the past, where I would say that like if I were to become a musician, I would outsell like 99% of the world's musicians, not because I'm any good at music, but just because I have like a fan base and I could just sell them whatever slop I put out, you know? So like for Joe Rogan and comedy, or for Joe Rogan and politics, or for Joe Rogan anything. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very not good world, I think. Yeah. Isn't it more so celebrity worship than anything else? Yeah, but before, when you worship celebrities, you were worshiping them with the very limited stuff that they did, right? I guess if they did like a sponsor for shoes or cologne or perfume, maybe. But now you have unlimited access, because now if you have a celebrity that you like, well, look, Hawk Tuah is a really great example. 5 seconds of fame on a TikTok or a reel or whatever turns into a whole podcast, turns into a whole crypto scam scheme, turns into everyone else in the entire circuit is like talking about her, turns into CoffeeZilla videos. It's like, holy shit. It can't just be one thing. It has to be everything. I'm surprised there wasn't a talk to a social media app. Maybe there was.
Trans women are women. How about most? You gotta leave room for crazy.
Believe women, right? All of them?
How about almost all?
How about you believe like 88%, and that last 12% that's out of their f***ing minds? You know, I think that's a fair percentage, wouldn't you?
You gotta leave room for crazy.
Okay. One trigger that I've had, if you've listened to a lot of stand-up comedy, a lot of, especially people that make commentary on life, there's a lot of similar material to joke about, okay? Like it's 2025. You're never going to go and do a stand-up routine where you're making totally unique observations about men and women and how we get along with each other that somebody couldn't argue. Well, does this come in? Not to take away from the broader point of this video, but
that's what he does with stand-up, and that's what he did to start his podcast, which he stole the idea from Tom Green.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It is 8:01. You're watching Tom Green Live. Roll the open.
Tom had the brains and the balls to start his own talk show, broadcasting live on the internet from his own home. And it was great. It was funny, chaotic, and it never took itself seriously.
That's good booze. Play something real quick, okay?
Okay.
All right.
I'm on Tom Green Live. Hooray!
All right, cool. Awesome.
It was unpredictable, and stuff went wrong all the time.
We can't see the on-air feed right now. It's not happening. Yeah, the live feed's not coming through too good, but we figured we'd sit and wait.
This guy's scaring me. Are we up on the computers?
We're up, yeah.
He'd get mad at his production staff as a bit.
Computers? I want to see a laptop right now with it on the feed. Can I see it? Bring me a laptop right now.
Instead of whatever this is.
No. It's like a.
It's weird.
It's sort of like an ellipse.
Sorry.
Sometimes he'd get bombarded with prank calls, and because Tom has an actual sense of humor and a fully functioning brain, he could play along with them.
Tom Green, can you do a barrel roll for me?
A barrel roll?
Yeah, a barrel roll.
I like that guy. That guy's cool.
I'm the guy you hung up on the first call.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry about that.
Hey, man, I just wanted to tell you.
Hello, you're on the air.
Instead of whatever this is.
I am really into rock, paper, scissors.
How into it are you?
I'm undefeated.
How is that possible?
But whenever they wanted any...
Instead of whatever this is.
To tell you.
Does Tom Green, does he look a little bit like a mix between like Nick Rekieta and Edward Norton? Am I crazy?
How is that possible?
But whenever they wanted anything, I would be like, all right, rock, paper, scissors. If you win, you can do this thing. If I win, and then I would like pick the thing that was like their sort of deepest fear, you know.
Can we play right now?
If I win, I do the programming on your show for a week.
No, that's worth a lot of money. You could f off.
You were so confident until just now. We could pick a month, few months off.
All right. Sounds like someone's scared to lose at rock, paper, scissors.
It sounds like someone else is scared to lose it.
No, you're asking me for something that's ridiculous.
Look how mad at you.
You don't have exist.
Fuck off. And number one comedy podcast in the world.
Friends was a funny show.
Joe, you were great on Friends.
No, I wasn't on Friends.
It's a joke.
Hey, stop joking.
No.
But is this
There you are.
wall going to
Everybody's
be
done it.
huge?
Is it-
Huge?
It's a joke.
Did
It's
that-
such a fun podcast. Such a fun time.
We need to beat Russia. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Fun.
Are you serious? Do you know how big that place is? Do you
Too
know how
big.
much military force is behind Putin? What are you talking about?
What are you talking
What are you
about?
talking about?
you
Like,
talking
what if he
about?
just decides to go nuclear?
Oh God, shut up.
Break down your whole regime.
Oh, that's better.
Tom Green in the black limousine.
Oh, hell yeah. God, can you imagine that parallel universe where Tom became the #1 podcast guy instead of Joe? Must be a fun place to be. That's where we're all supposed to be, if anything made any fucking sense in this stupid world. But it doesn't. And sadly, guys, we are all forced to live in this very shitty branch of the multiverse.
Exiled from the group.
This is the branch where Stu and Joe stole Tom Green's idea, made a much shittier version of it, and slowly took over mainstream media, comedy, and the U.S. government. As he continues to spread his wonderful mental herpes to all his listeners week after week.
Made your daddy proud.
I'm proud to be your friend.
I'm proud of yours as well.
Proud.
I love you, Joe, man.
I love you too,
Thank you for
brother.
your time, bro.
Oh yeah, thanks. Almost forgot to thank him today. You can watch in real time the moment Joe realizes there might be gold in these podcast hills.
Dude, I think this is awesome.
Thank you, man. See, no, I mean,
This is the craziest thing ever.
it really is different, you know,
Yeah.
than television
This
or
is
anything.
way better.
He gets rock hard, praising its lack of corporate interests and griping about how advertising and money ruin anything good about
It's not a
entertainment.
corporate pressure. See,
Yeah.
the thing that f***ed up television,
Watch the lab,
thing that
Mike.
f***ed up entertainment in general
idiot.
is money. They
Oh,
started
really?
selling advertising, and that's all. And that f***s up everything. It doesn't.
Oh, but if he's about to make the argument that Joe Rogan sold out for advertisers, he's wrong because Joe Rogan doesn't do advertisement. That's his AI voice. Wait, does this little symbol look like a Pokeball? Am I crazy? It does, right?
Doesn't make anything good.
A belief he abandons literally within seconds once he realizes that he could be the sole beneficiary of this potential new advertising revenue stream.
We need to figure out how you make money from this.
Yeah.
I
think we
thought
create
money ruined
a
everything.
national interweb, we
Sure.
call it, and then create a mass traffic
like a portal.
gauge.
Watch right here. You can see the wheels turning inside his brain as he quickly flip-flops.
Like a portal
Yes.
into the advertising revenue stream, you know? Then
So he just copied Tom Green, and he started the Joe Rogan shitcast experiment, and just for being an early adopter of podcasting, he was able to become the biggest and most mainstream establishment media figure on the planet. There he goes, stealing Joe.
He's up.
Yeah, this visionary genius is comedy's George Carmack. Who's George Carmack? Well, he's the guy who found that first piece of gold in the Yukon, which started the whole Klondike gold rush. There was nothing special about George Carmack. He was just some guy. He was just lucky enough to get a tip from this other guy, Robert Henderson, saying there might be some gold up there in the Yukon. So George just went up there and yeah, he found some. And after that, loads of guys swarmed up to the Klondike there and ruined the place as they all tried to copy what Carmack did. And just like Henderson tipped off Carmack, Tom Green tipped off Joe, giving Joe the idea to start a DIY podcast. And he did. And he struck gold and caused a stampede of comedians trying to copy his blueprint, turning everything to shit in the process. Like a plague of locusts. Shit locusts. And guys, please don't hold that against Tom, all right? There's no way he could have predicted the consequences of that tip. And Tom's a wonderful man. And actually, just like Joe Rogan, all his riches were never enough for George Carmack. He was always questing for more and more gold, never satisfied. He, like Joe, must have had some kind of dad-shaped hole in his soul that he tried to fill with money and fame, but it never really worked.
What are you saying?
George dropped dead at age 61 while working yet another new claim. I'm just saying. So Joe struck gold and, as we all know, became the godfather king of both comedy and podcasting, and helped to restore faith that we are still living in a meritocracy-based society. And we love him and we thank him each and every day of our lives. Along the way, Joe spawned a slew of copycat shows trying to coattails his success, to the point where every single comedian now has their own podcast, literally every single one. And so many of them were built on the same premise of, what goes on inside a comedian's twisted mind? What really happens backstage in that green room?
The green room is amazing.
No.
I know it looks bad, and
Oh no.
it doesn't.
I can't believe it. Well, we all found out pretty quick that most of them are...
Bro, the podcast episode where he's talking and he's like, Snapchat. You can't save messages from Snapchat though, right? Right?
just sick, twisted perverts and dangerous, mentally ill narcissists, predators, abusers, all those kinds of guys, farting around in that stupid green room in one big depraved circle jerk.
Lucky she paid 100. I had girls in my dick giving me coke from Chewy.
Oh,
you think I'm fucking kidding you? Yeah, you gotta suck my dick to get up in the belly room. I'm making a call for you. That's the fucking gateway into coming to Hollywood. Everybody knows that.
How many girls did you have do that?
Oh, 20 of them. Yeah. I got to Hollywood, bro. She was beautiful. And when she left, she had dirty fucking, her nails were dirty. And then a year later, she wrote me a letter to the Comedy Store. You sucker, you broke me.
Can I just say how absolutely fucking insane the world has changed for women in like the past like 20 years? Jesus Christ.
I kept shooting sperm balls in her fucking ball.
That actually makes me want to start believing in the death penalty. Send them right to Sparky. Anyways, on it went, and they just kept making these podcasts. They just won't stop, pumping them out. And then a pandemic happened, and people were alone, and so desperate not to listen to the thoughts inside their own heads. So they put on these podcasts as mental screensavers and escape.
All right, just real quick, 'cause people are going to be asking us all day. Come on, give me that good financial advice. Do I go all in on some ETFs now, or do I hold out for 6 months for peak recession potential? None of your investing should ever rely on you trying to figure out if the market is going up or down. If you invest, you put money into an account with the assumption that over a long period of time, your gains will be good. If you're trying to time the market, you're always losing as a retail investor in the long run. Don't do it.
Into the friendship simulation that these podcasts provide, and the numbers went up, and more guys made more and more podcasts, always trying to outcompete each other by making everything as...
You know, I can't even imagine a young dude trying to say this in public without a whole lot of people going to go, that ain't right. The world has changed for the better. True, but I think he made that statement, that show where he was talking about that, like making girls fuck him in order to join his Discord to do debates. Oh, I'm just kidding. In order to be in his fucking comedy club or whatever. Wasn't that episode like within the past few years? Or am I making this up? Was it longer than that? Sorry, no idea here. I feel like it was a while ago. How long is a while ago though? Like 5 years or like 15 years ago? Okay, maybe it was 10 years ago? Okay, maybe it just like resurfaced. Or my sense of time is just destroyed.
As fast, cheap, and low effort as possible. And then it's just a matter of reading ads for pills or nicotine mouthwash or whatever.
Brain nourishing.
Oh, it's not good. These lazy stand-up guys got into comedy because it was the easiest thing they could do to avoid getting a real job. But then podcasting came along, and suddenly they had an even easier way to make even more money.
Podcast?
And then pretty soon the podcast eclipsed the stand-up, and now all these so-called comedians are really just zero-effort podcasters.
Jesus. I know, but this is a one-time thing. I'm invested heavily, but I have 40K and I don't want to waste possible gains. I want to buy a house in the next year or two, and this seems like a best-case scenario. If you're looking to buy a house in a year or two, then dumping all of your money that you've got saved for a house right now into an account that's invested in the stock market is generally not a good idea. You probably want to look at, I don't know, safe investments. Do money market deposit accounts still exist? Is that a real thing anymore? Or buy like a certificate of deposit based on what the current interest rates are? I don't even know. A CD might not even be good now. But you want to go with something that is way less volatile. Going with a high volatility investment right now, when you have the hope of withdrawing that money in a year to buy a house, unless you're willing to put off the house a year or two if the markets go down, because you just don't want to be withdrawing on losses. Okay, don't realize a lot. Okay, you haven't lost any money until you've sold. All right, you haven't lost until you've sold. The biggest issue that you're going to run into as well for people right now, if you're trying to deposit thinking that like, oh, okay, I'm depositing now because I'm going to hit the bottom. Okay, I've got the bottom. I'm timing this so well. If you want to deposit now, or if you want to invest now, I would invest now if I had the extra money to do it. Okay, if you want to invest now, then do it, but don't invest now hoping that you're hitting the bottom. And then when the markets go down even more, then you sell thinking that, okay, well, it didn't go down enough. Now I'm going to wait for it to go down again. And then you buy in again, and then it drops really bad. You're like, oh shit. And then you sell. It's like, okay, I'm going to hit the real bottom. And then it goes up. You're like, oh fuck, oh god, I'm losing. And then you buy. Like, that's thought pattern. It sounds really stupid when I lay it all out sequentially, but as time unfolds, minute by minute, second by second, okay, piece by piece, it's very, very, very easy to do this. You buy in, you sell low, and then you buy again, and then you sell low, and then you buy again, you sell low, and then all of a sudden you're buying high, and you're like, fuck, don't do that. Just be careful, okay? You're very quickly entering a gambling mindset without realizing it, all right? That's all I'm saying. I'm willing, I'm 26, I never sell till it gains. Thanks for the advice, though. I just don't want to waste a chance to make some money. I mean, listen, an investment in the U.S. market, in my opinion, is always a good investment until it's not, in which case, fuck the planet anyway, so careful.
Selling shitty products again and again and again.
We'll be back with the interview in 1 minute. First, we want to talk to you about the sponsors of today's episode, AG1.
You should nuke England.
We take AG1 to stay healthy.
And you're looking great there, bud. Jesus Christ. They really have become indistinguishable from those infomercials you used to see on TV late at night when you couldn't sleep. And you'd turn that thing on out of desperation just to maybe hear another voice.
I love you. You have no, my life.
You might even see an interesting product, who knows?
Arthritis, depression.
Those are podcasts now.
iRestore, the clinically proven, game-changing hair growth device, iRestore. This show is brought to you by DraftKings.
They're just places these fools can hawk supplements and get free advertising for their own branded crap.
I love this.
And they all follow that original blueprint from the godfather of podcasting, Joe Rogan.
Mom brain is real. It is a real thing.
You need some Alpha Brain.
What is it? Can I take it? I'm breastfeeding.
Alpha Brain is a nootropic that my company On It makes. And I'm not saying this because it's my company.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually a very anxious person.
I have a friend whose daughter was on ADHD medication, and she was getting off of it, and he started giving her Alpha Brain.
Very cool.
He said it helped her tremendously.
Respect for the daughter. Wow.
What is it?
He's become the new establishment, cutting deals with big pharma and backed by massive corporations like Spotify and the Big N.
The thing that fucks up entertainment in general is money. That's all it is. And that fucks up everything. It doesn't make anything good.
So Joe was getting more and more popular. But with that success came a whole new level of public criticism that Joe was not prepared for and was too weak and frankly lazy to handle. See, one of the core problems with this Joe Rogan guy is the fact that he has that dad-shaped hole in his soul that we alluded to earlier. He grew up with this terrible guy for a dad.
My big memory from my childhood is my mother coming home with hamburger meat and my father being upset that it was hamburger that she had brought home for dinner, and he beat the shit out of her.
Jesus Christ.
Left.
And do you think that somehow or another that put that fight in you?
Yeah, unquestionably, yeah. Like, I thought my dad was this great guy. You know, when you're a kid, your dad's your hero. Right. You know? And all of a sudden I realized when I was 5 years old, very clearly that my dad was a douchebag. And there's that feeling that you can't trust anybody.
And after doing all that emotional damage, Joe's dad abandoned him. But he left him with a lifetime gift, a dark black hole inside his soul that he might not even be aware of, and if he is entirely in.
God, I just want to reiterate, where are my, oh, I can't say sociopath jokingly anymore. People get really mad at that. Where are my people who don't give a fuck about having the approval of their family members in chat? I used to think this was just like a movie trope meme, okay, and a video game meme. I didn't know that people literally carry trauma from their parents with them for their entire life. Fuck that shit. That's cringe, bro. They're just your parents, okay? Who cares? Who cares?
Capable of fixing or even acknowledging. Crippling fear. Now this black hole, it produces incredibly powerful emotional gravity. All his fears, insecurities, self-loathing coalesce around that dad hole. And over these 68 years of Joe's life, this swirling concoction of negativity has formed around the hole. And that's stressful, man. It's a real bind. And it's actually a big reason why Joe became a comedian in the first place.
I've literally been physically assaulted by my dad. That shit fucks you. That's called early combat training, bro. You're lucky.
Get into being a comedian.
I don't know. I got talked into doing it. No, I wasn't really very funny. I got talked into doing stand-up by my friends from martial arts.
Stop laughing. It's not funny.
I was very insecure, and I got bullied.
See, it's a sad thing.
And I wasn't big. I was a small kid.
Better music.
And I was really nervous, and I did not like that feeling at all. Yeah, I went to an open mic night. I watched amateurs try it. Like, most of them don't know what they're doing. They're terrible. Like, people who really suck inspire you to do it because they lower the bar of expectation.
And do you still do your stand-up?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That is the emperor of comedy you're talking to. See, there are two main strains of comedian.
Yeah.
The first kind are the people that...
Whoa! Sorry, fuck. I haven't followed this at all. Maybe... I might read on this. I just assumed that this was like a student here on visa or something. Following my previously signed executive orders, ICE proudly apprehended and detained Mahmoud Khalil, a radical foreign pro-Hamas student on the campus of Columbia University. This is the first arrest of many to come. We know there are more students like this who have engaged in pro-terrorist, anti-Semitic, and anti-American activity, and the Trump administration will not tolerate. Many are not students. They are paid agitators. We will find blah, blah, blah. So I assumed that this was like, I guess, a student on visa, which is still, by the way, bad. You should be allowed to protest here. Even if you get arrested, misdemeanor crimes, whatever, shouldn't be cause for having a visa revoked. That's fucking unhinged. This guy just tweeted this statement about a U.S. permanent resident, a green card holder. What the fuck is ICE doing with arresting or apprehending a green card holder? What? Sounds like he should have got the gold card. I'm just kidding. That's insane. They also detain U.S. citizens all the time. When does ICE detain U.S. citizens? I'm not saying they don't. I just don't know. What would be your what would be like if I'm coming through like the border, aren't you normally dealing with the like TSA for airports and stuff? Or yeah, or if you get detained by ICE, I feel like it would be like, oh, I have a green card. It's like, oh, okay, and then they let you go. Immigration agents arrest Palestinian activist who helped lead Columbia University protests. Federal immigration authorities arrested a Palestinian activist Saturday who played a prominent role in Columbia University's protests against Israel. Mahmoud Khalil, a grad student at Columbia until the past December, was inside his university-owned apartment Saturday night when several immigrations and customs enforcement agents entered and took him into custody. Greer said she spoke by phone with one of the ICE agents during the arrest, who said that they were acting on State Department orders to revoke Khalil's student visa. Does he need a student visa if he has a green card? I'm white. Can you explain why the green card makes it significantly more insane? A green card in the United States of America means that you've gotten permanent residency status, which basically means you're everything but a citizen. You don't have your citizenship yet, but as long as you keep like applying to renew your green card, you're a permanent resident. Like that was the thing that Melina had and I guess wasted. That's the thing that makes you. It's like the next step from there would be citizenship, but you can have a green card forever. That's why it's called permanent resident. Informed by the attorney that Khalil was in the United States as a permanent resident with a green card, the agent said they were revoking that instead. Oh. Yeah, we're taking your client's visa. Sorry. My client's not here with a visa. My client has a green card. Oh, we'll just take that instead then, I guess. What? In support of President Trump's executive orders prohibiting anti-Semitism. Wait, what executive order are we talking about here? Bro, you should be able to be as anti-Semitic as you want. Excuse me, what? Hello? Is Ela Klein a citizen or a green card holder? I don't know if she did her citizenship test or not. I truly don't know. I don't know if I've ever spoken about it before. Marco Rubio is saying they will revoke green cards to deport. Excuse me? We will be revoking the visas and or green cards of Hamas supporters in America. Oh, that's like one of the most anti-free speech statements that you could ever make. Hello? What? What? Yeah, what's next? Birthright citizenship? Ah, ha, 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 ha. Pisco and Dr. Avi had an interesting chat about this. How could you possibly have an interesting chat about this? What is the interesting... What's the other end of this? How do you steelman this? If you have political opinions that we don't like, we get to revoke your green card? You can link the Avi combo and we'll watch it. Jesus fucking Christ. It's another day in hell. Can somebody please bring back all the people who was arguing with me before that Germany is infringing on freedom of speech? Holy fuck.
Yeah, I administer.
I can't tweet because Twitter is broken. His arrest is the first publicly known deportation effort under Trump's promised crackdown on students who joined protests against the war in Gaza that swept college campuses last spring. What the fuck? Elon called Mark Kelly a traitor? Wait, where? What? Sign-in required. Wow, based. Just left Ukraine. Hold on, let me fucking... What I saw proved to me we can't give up on the Ukrainian people. Everyone wants this war to end, but any agreement has to protect Ukraine's security and can't be a giveaway to Putin. Let me tell you about my trip and why it's important we stand with Ukraine. Elon Musk, you are a traitor. Bro, you aren't him. No one cares about your opinion on anything. Fuck! I don't know why I'm saying that when, as long as Trump likes him, people do. He's a veteran astronaut and elected senator. His brother went to space. Wait, is he the spaceman or is his brother the spaceman? What is the argument that Crimea should be a part of Ukraine? In my opinion, it should be a separate country / international zone. It seems like Russia has no real claim to it. Ukraine's only claim is it happened to be in their borders. I mean, what? Can you prove that that's your hand? Well, sir, it is attached to my body. Okay. Any other arguments, though? Not gonna lie, Destiny, you have to tell me where you were on Saturday. What happened on Saturday? They're both spacemen. Oh, cute. Destiny, why did Yeltsin give away Crimea? I don't know the exact answer, but it's not really relevant. Okay, let's finish this before we get into the rest of how our society is collapsing.
That are creative artists that have weird brains and maybe even have a triple-digit IQ, and they're driven to create. They are compelled by the muses or whatever, and it makes sense that they're comedians.
I like an escalator, man, because an escalator can never break. It can only become stairs.
True, good one. You've posted this question 5 times. Destiny, have you ever talked to Peter Zeihan? If not, do you think it'd be a productive conversation? I don't know. If he wants to, I would chat with him. But I don't know what we chat about.
Oh, jokes. I remember those. The other kind of strain of comic, and this is almost all of them these days, are sad people with black holes inside their soul who get into comedy to try and get external validation from audiences, and to indulge in the delusion of power that they feel when standing alone on stage with an amplified microphone where nobody else is allowed to speak. And probably they should lock their phones in a bag too. And now I'm trying to think about who else stood on stage with a microphone trying to fill a hole, vying for attention and power. Oh yeah, this guy.
Stand-up comedians
for
are
this type
Hitler,
of guy,
yes!
Stand-up comedy is a dream. They're sad little guys who seek power and external validation. It's classic Hitler stuff. And it's scary, psychotic stuff.
Free speech. That's what we're fighting. That's all I'm fighting for.
Fuck, it's Dave.
When I'm on that stage, I'm there to dictate your emotions.
Oh.
Dictator at that point.
He admits it.
That's all we're fighting for is free speech.
It's this weird power fantasy where, if they're lucky, they can find enough other dumb sad guys in an audience who will give them the laughter and applause they need so badly.
Would you rather be happy and a lot of people not see your art?
I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be happy. I can already answer that before you even finish that question. I couldn't be happy if people aren't absorbing art of mine.
Sounds familiar.
Why do you think that is?
Because I'm addicted to it now. I'm addicted to that feeling of
validation.
Gratification, instant gratification, validation, all of it.
In this shit era of comedy.
Wait, I feel like that was like the worst answer ever. I could understand a comedian. Also, I'm not a comedian and I'm not like super active in those communities, so take what I say with a grain of salt, I guess. But I could understand a comedian not wanting to, like if you're telling jokes and everybody's laughing, to some extent it's good because it means you've tapped into something that people are like relating to some fundamental human thing, right? Oh, like people are, we're sharing an experience, you know? That's probably good. Or I'm speaking to something real about the human psyche. But well, I need the attention. That's kind of a weird way to answer that. Then again, I don't think Kill Tony or that stuff is funny, so get fucked. Would you say you're addicted to the attention you get from being a streamer? I don't think so, no. I don't give a fuck. I'll play Factorio offline. And then go play League of Legends.
He is all built around guys like this, whose entire scheme is simply pandering to the most easily entertained, brain-dead audience imaginable to get that quick, self-soothing dopamine hit. And at no point are they funny. And that's the real issue. And they're just too lazy and stupid and driven by urges other than the pursuit of...
Jeremy Piven.
Wait, what's this?
1,000 years ago,
What is this?
I did a show called Entourage. Can you imagine if we tried to reboot that today in this climate?
Yeah.
We used to have billboards everywhere. Just those billboards today, 5 straight, white, focused men coming straight at
Take me back.
People would be like, is that a documentary about January 6th?
Yeah, that is really good stuff. I actually changed my mind. This era of comedy rules. This era of comedy rules. So yeah, comedy copers. That's the kind of comedian Joe is. And it's sad. He'd love to shrink the size of that dark amalgam that haunts him, but he...
Don't you think Trump will 100% back off on tariffs permanently if the stock market crashes further? I think every Republican elected official will turn on him if it keeps losing money. Donald Trump doesn't care if the stock market crashes. Donald Trump doesn't care if Republican congressmen are pressuring him. Donald Trump cares about being liked and his popularity. If the electorate starts to significantly change their mind because of a falling stock market, Trump will absolutely change course.
But he can't because he doesn't seem to realize, or maybe it's too painful to think about, that he's only chained to that swirling mass of negativity because of the emotional gravity of that dad hole. Address the trauma of that dad hole and the rest floats away into the void. But he can't, and he won't. And because of that, he's stuck with that black hole inside, and the dark amalgam that surrounds it, which, in 2020, was about to grow to terrifying and unimaginable proportions.
Hello, everybody. I have an announcement. The podcast is moving to Spotify. Thanks.
Joe made a big boy business deal with the partly Chinese Communist Party-owned Spotify Corporation. And after that, he started getting in a lot more trouble for making up stuff
Spotify was a
on his
Swedish
show
company. How
and
much does
ruining
China even own of
society
that?
and things like that. And at first he had to keep apologizing when he got caught lying, which is crazy to think about now. But it was a different era back then.
Historic fires are ripping through 3 western states.
Hello, everybody. I need to make an apology and a retraction. I said something on the podcast about people getting arrested for lighting fires. I got duped. It's wrong. And I said it without looking into it. It's very irresponsible. And I'm sorry if I duped you as well. I know it feels very irresponsible of me. I don't take it lightly. I'm very upset with myself.
This is part of what makes Joe Rogan, I think, one of the best people, like better than even mainstream media, is when he's wrong, he's willing to admit it. I think it's a lot of guts, and I really think that's a super positive thing. And honestly, I respect him even more than if he would have gotten it right in the first place. Even if he continues to get stories wrong over and 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 over again, as long as he keeps apologizing for it, that's better than getting it right the first time, I think.
And I apologize to you as well. Sorry.
The guy was in way over his head, and his inability to distinguish reality from fiction was starting to stress him out, knowing how much he was bound to keep screwing up and how much trouble he'd keep getting in.
Sorry.
And, if that wasn't bad enough, his best friend humiliated him for apologizing.
What do you think about our buddy putting an apology today?
Sorry.
Who? You see Joe
Rogan, but he got a fact wrong.
Yeah. Poor Joe Rogan. He put the apology up.
Sorry.
They would tell him go. That's hard for my dog. My heart goes out to him. He had to put an apology up.
Sorry.
Shit.
I guess
things look good when he was. Things look good in the basement, dog.
You see they shut down 538? Yeah, but I feel like 538, funnily enough, also fell to the influencer trap. Because I feel like 538 was actually largely driven by Nate Silver. And I guess you could say his models too. But I think even Nate Silver is a person. And once he left, I think the writing has kind of been on the wall for 538. I think that it lost significant popularity after his departure. Although I see some people are trying to tie it to like they fired him because, or they got rid of 538 because it was like anti-Trump or something. But I think it was just, they've been in trouble for a while.
You take that Spotify money. You got to start apologizing. Sorry. Make him believe you can't. Poor guy. That's what happens when you get that money. You cash that big check. You got to watch what you say. Did you see him?
This marked the start of the apology era, which would end up being way too much adversity for Joe to handle. And to get out of this bind, Joe was about to embark on a transformation that will surely be studied by psychologists for the rest of time.
How serious is this? Is this something that we need to be terrified of?
So, long story short, a pandemic started, Joe couldn't handle it, and he went and had a panic attack in the sauna.
Well, I was scared out of my mind in the beginning. When everybody's shutting down in the beginning and people are stockpiling food, I was worried about people I knew getting really sick and dying. And then I was convinced that I had it. At one point in time, I was like, God, I do feel like I'm breathing heavy. I felt like my breath is coming short. I did. I had like psychosomatic issues thinking about it.
Guy had a panic attack sitting on 12 elk. You had a panic attack
in the sauna.
And then you felt bad about yourself, and then you attack people with masks. That's how it works. And that's how the hatred starts.
And that really was when the hatred was unleashed. Soon after, Joe kept talking about like shooting homeless guys.
I mean, nobody does anything about violent crime in LA anymore. Maybe we should just go and shoot homeless people.
I like your ideas.
Yeah.
Pandemic stuff was way too stressful. Then he started frantically scrolling Twitter, found a new group of guys to hang out with, and these guys allowed Joe to believe that everything was actually okay, and so Joe felt relieved and safe with them, and transformed his inner anxiety into outward rage, an emotion he was more accustomed to dealing with on account of that bad dad. But unfortunately, this new group of guys and all the stuff that he and Joe were talking about was getting Joe...
What is it? That lyric from the song Everything by Nas. Inclusion is a hell of a drug. It really is, man. Dude. People like their positive reinforcement.
A lot of negative attention. And that made even more anxiety bubble up. And again, Joe transformed that anxiety into an even bigger rage. And I mean, this guy was getting pissed.
Well, breaking news this evening, Joe Rogan, an extremely popular podcaster, announced on social media today that he has COVID.
Shit. Anyone got a lighter?
He mentioned ivermectin is something more often used to deworm horses.
I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. This is me. This is ivermectin.
You got
This
it
is
with
right
you.
here. Somebody gave it to me.
Oh, this is amazing.
Look at, they put a yellow filter on me too. They did. I look like shit there. Do you know that?
I think you look good.
Pause.
And his mind just completely shattered.
I don't
That's
think
enough, Jim.
He had to defend this new guy he'd started becoming, and all his beliefs, which were the only thing abating his rampant anxiety. And now he was way too invested in this stuff to ever turn back.
5'3". I think this is really important. One of the problems that I've had, me personally, I've had with any idea is that once I have an original idea or once I start looking at something a certain way, I become married to it. And I've had real problems with that. And the problem with saying this happened and that happened, which I used to do all the time, is that you don't know. You don't know. You don't know. But until you do know, when you say you know and you might be wrong, it becomes an ego thing. If I wasn't doing this fucking podcast, okay, if I was just a regular comedian and that's what I did for a living and I didn't pay much attention to alternative media and podcasts, I would be just like people I know who I used to be friends with who now hate me and are angry at me and talk shit about me online.
Now, you might have noticed that Joe is on the verge of tears there, struggling very hard not to break down and cry. And that's because the real Joe is inside there somewhere dying and desperately trying to be heard. But Joe won't allow it. He's committed to being the new guy. And he puts in major effort in order to keep the old guy beneath the surface, basically torturing him into submission.
And I'm taking the lid off that cold plunge. As I'm taking it off, don't do it, don't do it. I'm like, shut the fuck up. And I climb right in and and because I get through it every day, I start the day off with a win. I won. I beat the inner bitch. I conquered the inner bitch. I got in there.
If I start my day with a win, then how can I be a loser? Well, despite winning so hard at life from sitting in that tub, he was still pretty messed up from all the backlash he was getting from all his major whoopsies.
I would have been like them if I didn't have the access to the kind of conversations that I've had, if I didn't have the kind of mindset that I have.
The mindset.
My personality.
The personality.
Is just immune to bullshit.
He's got it all.
When bullshit hits me, I'm oh, I know what this is. I grew up without a dad.
Daddy.
I don't trust people.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
the people that haven't experienced that, I can understand why they formed the conclusions that they did, because I could have been them. I 100% could have been them.
Well, thank God Joe's mommy bought hamburger that fateful night. Or Joe could have ended up a guy with the biggest mainstream media platform on earth, being easily used and exploited by weird billionaires and grifters, and allowing it to happen because he's just so desperate for love and validation on account of that dad hole. It's crazy to think there's a multiverse thing out there where a #1 comedy podcast doesn't have guests like some comic book villain evil rich guy, all these nutjob billionaire dweebs, and like, I don't know, a guy literally from the CIA that's on like once a month for some reason.
You and Ben Shapiro should debate Chauvin getting pardoned. I didn't follow the trial close enough to know if I feel like that's a good thing or not, and I'm not familiar enough with the particular charges to know if that would be an appropriate thing or not. So my default opinion as it stands, just knowing the facts of Floyd's death, is that it seems like it was probably an okay verdict, but I would have to I would need to read the individual charges and then watch the trial to know if I felt like those should have been stuck.
And also like the entire government, basically. Could any of these people have tried to influence the way he thinks? Nah, man, he grew up without a dad, so you don't even have to take that question into consideration. And say sorry. Like, would it kill you to just apologize for no reason? Anyway, yeah, the manipulation of Joe. I thank the Lord each day of my life that didn't happen. Right, Duncan? Remember you warned Joe about that happening? Thank you so much for saving our dad. I mean, Joe. Thank God he's got friends that still tell him the truth and don't tell him part of the truth and then walk it back a little bit out of fear of disrupting his delusions, stressing him out, and then being cut out of his inner circle. That would be spineless and, you know, would make it obvious that all your peace and love and honesty stuff was just a load of crap all along.
If you're not careful, folks from deep, dark wells of perspective are gonna infiltrate your shit.
Listen to me, listen to me. All those people that are organized, they come hang out with us. Give me a hug.
You don't want to give them a hug?
Relax.
Why?
Just relax. All those people are just people, man.
Like a white supremacist?
They're lost.
Yeah, but you have to watch out because people are gonna like.
The trial was a joke. The defense had nothing. They brought on a doctor to try and say it was the exhaust in the tailpipe that killed him. Yeah, sure, but I don't know what the particular, like, in every state, the First Amendment, not the First Amendment, in every state, the murder one charge might have different qualifications for what it takes to make it so that a person is convicted of first-degree murder, which isn't that what Chauvin ended up getting? And so I don't know what elements have to be proven by the state in order to get a conviction like that. That's why I just don't have the strongest of opinion on that. I don't know what Chauvin, what was he actually convicted of at the end?
Try to exploit you. That's the main thing, is like people recognizing what you are, who have political agendas, will infiltrate your.
Okay, he got a conviction for murder 2, murder 3, and what's the difference between third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter? He was convicted on all the charges. How do you get convicted of all 3? I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to see how it goes, I guess. Yeah.
Shit, and then start blowing out their radioactivity into the world, right? That's a fear.
Like radium.
But like, dude, I do worry about you sometimes, man, because it's like you now have a platform that is unlike any platform that's happened, you know, because you're doing like a comedy podcast, radio show style thing, but you're also interviewing people about really heavy duty shit. Then you start thinking like, man, I've got this podcast that.
Oof. I'm sorry, I just got a bad chill in me. I wonder what the chances are that Trump would like pardon Chauvin or do a bunch of cultural retarded shit to try to take heat off the economic shit, and if that would work. I feel like there's no way that would work. I think most people didn't like George Floyd getting killed. Like even if there are some huge percentages of Republicans that didn't care, there's enough people that are like, oh, that's probably not okay. It made me uncomfortable, not good. I don't think that would be a popular move. I don't think he would do it.
Lots of people listen to. Has it ever happened where maybe some really intelligent person has manipulated me in an attempt to get me to disseminate some kind of information out into the world?
Good luck manipulating me, Duncan Trussell. I'm an American.
Yeah,
okay?
But you wouldn't even know. That's the thing. You wouldn't even.
Oh, I wouldn't know? How would I not know? These people are people.
What?
They're gonna be like, if someone is so good at manipulating people that they can manipulate me and change the way I think about things.
Yeah.
Well then, good luck.
So Joe got attached to all this COVID stuff, and everyone was either yelling at him and calling him a dangerous idiot, or...
Tariffs are popular, he's going to do it. Tariffs are popular conceptually, but the effects of tariffs are not popular. Just like being shredded and strong might be popular, but going to the gym enough to make that happen, plus watch your diet sleeping, not as popular, right? The concept of tariffs might be popular, but when people start to realize the effects of them, I don't think that people are going to like it.
They were showering him with praise for widely broadcast.
They would absolutely praise it out of spite. They hate Floyd and how the left sanctified him. So again, I ask you to keep in mind percentages. I do agree. That's probably all we would see is all the social media guys, the Daily Writers, all these people. The right probably would say, good, I'm glad that they pardoned Chauvin, fuck Floyd. That's true, but that represents like your core MAGA base. There are people at the outer perimeter of who voted for Trump or independents or whatever, I don't think would go. I don't think they go along with that. I don't think so.
A dangerous idiot, or they were showering him with praise for widely broadcasting all their favorite ideas about what reality might be and making them feel validated. So, if you're a fearful, self-loathing, and external validation-seeking guy like Joe, which side would you embrace? Well, instead of posting more apology videos, he opted to...
I thought Trump hated trans people, and yet we're having one of the biggest transitions on the market yet.
To fully dive into a wonderful new safe space. He tapped into...
Do you think the average person would even understand that Chauvin would still be in prison if he gets pardoned? He's serving on state charges too. Oh, wait. I didn't even consider that. I'm sorry. Wait. If his conviction was all state, then Trump can't even pardon him. It's both? My guess is going to be... Every time you guys do this, you guys say, oh, no, there were federal and state charges. You guys did this for Ahmaud Arbery's killers as well, where it'll be like the state charges are the massive charges, and then there'll be like a federal charge for some cuck shit that is like 1 or 2 years. Well, never mind, though. Forget that. In this case, he got 21 years for federal imprisonment. Wait, why was he even charged? Why was he charged federally? What was the point? I don't understand the double jeopardy stuff at all in the United States. In December 2021, Chauvin pleaded guilty to violating George Floyd's civil rights in a federal case. Yeah, but that's not a 21-year sentence, no? Chauvin gets 21 years for violating Floyd's civil rights. Oh, yeah, well, never mind. What the fuck do I know, I guess? The fuck? Mm-hmm. Fuck. Well, this goes even further. I would have to read what all the charges were here. How do you... I wonder if it's like violating rights by murdering somebody, or if that was like an aggravating factor for that. I'm not sure why Americans still think Americans can't be manipulated by Trump. Of course, he could pardon Chauvin and then get enough of his admin and media sycophants to push the messaging to convince people it's no big deal. I feel like what's happened so far is absolutely proof of that. They've already said he... Yes, but remember, we have to think in percentages, right? So, like, you know how we joke sometimes, it's like, if I were to become a Nazi, I bet I could get my audience to become Nazis too, you know? That's probably true to an extent, but I am going to lose members of my audience as well, right? Like, if I were to do a full 90-degree heel move to fucking Nazism, I'm sure I could take some core percentage of you with me if I tried real hard, but I'm going to lose some percentage of my audience as well, right? So I don't think...
Into something he opted to fully dive into a wonderful new safe space. He tapped into something he'd been searching for all his life, a source of constant praise and affirmation. And the guys doing all the praising were happy to have found a powerful ally in the new mainstream media. And as if that wasn't enough, Joe also found an endless parade of charlatans willing to juice his rod like he's some kind of god king for access to his wonderful platform and a chance to milk him for their own fame and fortune.
I want to give you the gifts I got you, bro. Got 5 of them. Okay, the letter...
Isn't Ben Shapiro a fairly moderate Republican in percentage terms? Not anymore. Ben Shapiro is a total Trump sycophant. He has no values and no spine.
God king for access to his wonderful platform and a chance to milk him for their own fame and fortune.
I want to give you the gifts I got you, bro. Got 5 of them. Okay, the letter to the right is the Warren Commission. Then you got the autograph of Lee Harvey Oswald. And you got the autograph of John F. Kennedy.
Wow, a 5th place golf tournament prize.
So I hope you liked it.
It's wonderful.
The last one, I'm convinced this is the one that I think you're gonna like a lot. So, this one was work, bro. I hope you like it. Okay. This is with the what do you call it when you're doing a...
Whoa, yeah, it's called a BPSRJ, a blatant public sycophantic rod juicing. And Joe just laps it all up, swallowing the praise and plugging it into that hole his bad dad left in his soul.
You're a very important guy.
Here we go.
Everybody loves you.
Finish him
I got
off.
a lot of respect for you.
Talk to me,
There's
baby.
a level of admiration for you.
Don't stop.
There's true love for you.
Harder.
There's true protection for you.
Too
You
hard.
don't need any protection when it comes into a street fight.
Perfect.
You know how to fight and take care of yourself.
Feels
my
good.
My weapon is words. And by the way, my book
Wait, I'm sorry. Can somebody link this episode at this timestamp? I just want to go back to this where he's gifting him. Holy fuck.
is coming out in December.
And these raw juicings just felt so good, and they relieved Joe.
Didn't you just say about 4 days ago that the right needs more voices like Shapiro's when he was summarizing tariffs? Yes. That was Shapiro from 6 years ago, though. Yes. The right needs more voices like Ben Shapiro back when he was at least like principled. But now he doesn't have that anymore. He's lost all that. He's just another Trump megaphone.
Of the anxiety he was feeling from all that criticism he was getting. And on top of that, all those instances of
Thanks,
Joe
Cadillac.
transforming his fear into rage compounded on each other. And through neuronic muscle memory, his brain began to default to the fear-rage switch innately. And whether Joe meant to do this or not, I don't know, no free will, he actually became a whole new guy.
I've never voted right-wing in my life. I'm very pro-choice. I'm very women's rights, civil rights, gay rights, trans rights. I'm even universal health care. See this thing that Trump's doing with children that were born in other countries and then brought over here as children, and then they're talking about deporting them. That drives me crazy. Yeah, the hard right version of that is despicable. January 6th thing is important. And one of the reasons why I think it's important because it highlights the reasons why a guy like Donald Trump is so dangerous.
Joe Rogan endorsing Donald Trump.
Joe Rogan just endorsed me. Is that good? Thank you, Joe.
Here we go.
Becoming a new guy is a very effective way of slipping out of the shackles of judgment anxiety. Simply identify a crowd that you want to belong with, and then reconfigure your entire personality in order to fit in with that group.
It's like, you remember when Madonna had a fake English accent and everybody's like, bitch, you're from Brooklyn or wherever the fuck you're from. You are not from England. Like, you can't do that.
They were like
Yes, they all jumped in the back of a U-Haul truck together. There has never been a thing that I've ever seen where almost immediately I was like, those are feds. A thing that I've ever seen. A thing that I've ever seen. A thing that I've ever seen. A thing. I mean, look, some people are barely holding on to reality.
You're right.
Barely.
You're right.
All they need is one fucking smack. One.
Jesus.
If you adopt all their beliefs and then convince yourself that they're the only group whose opinion matters.
Sad to see how you turned into a partisan hack. You spoke out against European free speech, and that got mad at JD for doing it too. When have I ever spoken out against European free speech? All I've said is different people have different laws, and you can't say that something's not freedom of speech just because they don't draw the line at exactly the same place that you did. But okay, Chief.
Then you never have to worry about being judged and criticized ever again. What a relief. This rap guy, Machine Gun Boy, he too became a new guy recently by employing the new body, new guy technique himself.
I'm in a new body. I literally am in a new body. Like, I covered everything on my arms and my body. I left windows to it, but just like there's windows to my old work, but I'm a new person. So
When you debated Karantos about Islam? I don't even remember that debate, so.
the evolution has led me from a caterpillar to a butterfly now.
Hold on, that was kind of deep.
Transition into a new guy is very difficult, and it takes many years to become fully immersed in the self-delusion. But upon reaching the maximal delusion saturation point, your simulated self becomes more real than your original classical self. And the transition into a new guy is completed. And after years of waffling on the fence, as we enter the year 2025, Joe's transition into this new guy.
Bro, I don't think most men can resist that type of fealty. I feel bad for him, honestly. Yeah, this is something I've spoken about before. It's very annoying that people get so easily duped by like the weak man's version of a strong man, or the stupid man's version of a smart man, or whatever. Where it's like these people come out and they're like, yeah, I'm standing against the whole world. Like these are such unpopular opinions and everything. Meanwhile, is signing $100 million deal with Spotify, has all of his friends on and all these people that agree with him constantly on these shows. And it's like, okay, wait, bro, who the fuck are you standing against right now? Excuse me? What? It's super cringe.
Appears to finally be complete. Well done.
You gotta remember, like, they were probably messed up. The reason they're doing what they're doing is because something happened to them earlier on. There was an aggressive, teacher, uncle, somebody that just
Maybe
kind of,
a dad?
a dad who's drunk.
Yep.
You know, there's stuff that pushes them in that direction to be expressive, controlling, and, you know, wanting to be acknowledged and do it.
Do you think age is a factor? Because the older all these heroes from the past get more fragile mentally? No, I don't think it's an age thing at all. I think that, like, it's a very normal human thing to want to be liked. It's a normal human thing to want people to, you know, accept you and approve of your thing. It's probably the most normal human thing. But it's just funny that the same people who pretend that they're above it all are obviously the most susceptible to it.
Exactly my way.
That's one of the reasons why there will always be a soft place in my heart for people that I feel have their own thoughts and opinions, even if they're not fully in alignment with me. So I'll probably always have respect for like Bill Maher, even though holy fuck, we definitely disagree on some shit. But Bill Maher is his own person, 100%. Bill Burr, to some extent, you could say, right? Because Bill Burr has been on that kind of like fuck Elon train, and maybe the fuck Trump train. I don't know if he said anything about Trump, but you know, at least they have some kind of value. It would be easy for those guys to sell out, you know.
Because I was powerless as a child.
And when you said I beat up kids, I beat up other women. Joe Harrison was, when you farted in your house, they knew next door. How could I get away with that?
Yeah, for sure, right? And then that's the thing you see with actors too, and they finally get some success, and then finally you're the man. Like, oh, look, it's Mike. Your bagel's ready, Mike, and your trailer's ready. And then Mike is, get me a fucking coffee. Like, oh, Mike, anything for you. And people act in this disproportionate, very insane.
Did you once have the same kind of respect for Sneeko? No. I think Sneeko's content, everything was good. Back in the day, I appreciated it. But I don't know if he was ever, like, standing against the crowd. You don't have to be against a crowd to do content or to do good stuff, though. Like, there's a lot of good artists. Like, everybody in Hollywood is arguably not standing against the crowd. They're like movies in Hollywood I like and shit. I'm not saying that in and of itself makes you a good content creator or anything like that. I respect people who are willing to take a stand against just being audience captured, I guess.
Way. You know what I'm suffering? Jamie, this coffee sucks. Water. I don't know what happened, but you made it like almost, it's literally like almost like water. Can we get some more? We're going to talk about this. This is the worst coffee I've ever had.
Sorry. The exponential here, by the way, is, you know, OpenAI or whoever makes the next model.
Jamie, this is still super watered down.
It just have to let it, like,
I did.
I just put the water in.
I'm telling you, dog.
When do you think Shapiro switched from principal to sycophant? When Trump announced his 2024 run or something else? Probably around when he realized that Trump was the way forward for the Republican Party. One added stressor that you have when you're running a company, a media company, is that not only are your political opinions going to, you know, matter for the success of your company, they're also going to matter for the success of all the people that work at your company and all the other employees around you. So now you have to be mindful that, well, if I want to break with Trump, my whole company and then everybody that works in this company is now going to lose their jobs too, which is, yeah.
There's a ton of coffee.
Get me a coffee.
Set of stable materials.
Coffee's terrible. I'll just tell you right now, Jamie, this is terrible for coffee though. You like this is fucking terrible.
Oh, he looks like
it's terrible.
Sorry. And it really
is there a shortcut to figure out if people are speaking about their own ideas? I feel like we watched a video on this once or read a list, or maybe we were going to make one, but they're just like a couple indicators, I guess. Like, is somebody comfortable taking a stand against their crowd? Like, is anybody ever willing to break with the popular opinion in their particular movement? Like, that's one indicator. It would have to be over something meaningful as well, but I'd say you can look for people who change their ideas when they join a new movement, but sometimes you can legitimately be convinced that something is better. I don't know, it just depends.
Really makes you wonder, you know, like, how many times has Joe done this? How many new guys has he transformed into over the years in order to avoid actually facing the dad hole head on? And who is the real Joe Rogan underneath all of those guys? And do the old guys still exist somewhere? Or do they float away to die in some astral plane? Oh, or maybe one of those other branches of the multiverse. I don't know, but it's all very friggin' cerebral. So just a quick recap. We're exploring how did comedy get so shit? And surely you know the end of this shit cycle is coming any day now. You're all aware of the ever-growing industry of guys pointing out how shit the ship era is. People are catching on, guys. Don't wait for the rest of the rats to start jumping off the Rogan shit ship. Be that rat yourself and fucking jump already. It's time to leave Daddy's house. I mean, would you rather be at the forefront of the great post-Rogan comedy rebuild? Or would you prefer to face a jury of your peers at Comedy Nuremberg? Sorry. Anyway, so King Joe became a new guy. It's fucking insane, but he did it. He's the mainstream king. And this new guy he's become has allowed him to make a massive power grab within the U.S. government, cementing his position within the establishment. He's the comedy czar. And I honestly can't even tell if he's aware of the fact that he's become the unofficial podcast of the U.S. government. He's got a direct line to the president.
Unofficial?
Well, we definitely are hated in Canada right now.
Oh, yeah.
The hockey game, kick Canada's ass. Sorry, Canada. In Canada.
Excuse me?
It's not good, because that's their fucking sport.
Oh, really, dude?
Eat shit. All right, sorry, what were we talking about?
The talk about turning Canada into a 51st state.
Oh, yeah.
He's serious. He told me on the phone he was serious.
Yeah.
Well, at first I was joking around, but then I was thinking maybe it's not a bad idea.
So funny.
He's become comedy
Epic.
goibles.
So
Jobles.
epic.
Just kidding. But if you think that's slanderous, you must have missed Joe's best friend's announcement that comedy
is legal again.
The
Yay.
left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know? Like, you can't make fun of anything. So then it was like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like, legalize comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Legalize comedy.
But now it's 2025, and Joe's the only guy on Earth still ranting and raving about the pandemic. Wants his bread and butter. And,
Why are you just accepting this? Because it's a noble thing.
addicted to something that pissed him off like 4 years ago. Addicted to the whining. He looks for stuff to whine about like a pathetic cigarette junkie, scouring the sidewalk for butt remnants to smoke, because that's all that's available. And you gotta take what you can get.
If that Tim Walsh sucker, if that guy got into power, that weirdo puts tampons in the boys' room and...
So this new guy experiment is fucking insane, but it actually kind of worked out for Joe. But Joe wasn't gonna stop there. I mean, say what you want about Joe, but this guy can overcommit to stuff at a pathological level. Becoming a new guy was not enough. Though more secure in his delusion than ever before, the flimsy tent poles holding up the belief in this new guy were always threatened by critics and like just regular normal people calling him stupid and stuff. So it was still kind of stressful. Now Joe is putting in efforts to normalize the whole concept of becoming a new guy in order to legitimize his own transition. And now Joe has gifted the world a brand new blueprint to copy. It's the new guy blueprint. And guys are already getting into it. We just saw Mark Zuckerberg show up to the Shitcast to unveil his new guy.
We're also lucky that you got into jiu-jitsu, because I think you look different. When you walked in here today, you look thicker. You look like a different guy.
It just turned on like a part of my brain that I was like this was a piece of the puzzle that should have been there, and I'm glad it now is.
Now Mark maybe wasn't quite ready to unveil the new guy, but you know, sometimes we get a little bit too excited about our new guy, and we unveil them before they're really ready.
I like racing, and I feel like all these activities, grilling meats, racing cars, are probably two of the most fun things that you can do.
Oh yeah, hunting too.
True.
Yeah, same kind of thing. You've done a lot of that as well.
Yeah. Well, my favorite is bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Joe's already dubious. He's
True.
worried that Mark is going
Same.
to bungle the new guy.
I need a recommendation for a good compound bow. Yes.
Failing here. And undo all the hard work Joe's put into normalizing new guy transitioning. But at the same time, Joe the Gatekeeper can't help but become activated to defend the holy hobby of hunting.
I mean, that's, I think, like the most... That feels like the most kind
visceral.
of sporting.
What kind of bow do you have?
Gosh.
Oh, no.
Whoopsie.
Do you know the company that makes it?
Not off the top of my head.
Oh, that's bad.
No.
Yeah, no, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
This is embarrassing.
But Joe was enthused to see someone else try and follow his path.
I saw your neck. I'm like, his neck's bigger. Your neck is bigger.
Good.
Are you using iron neck? Or...
Sorry, I got to cut it off before he goes into infomercial mode again. So Mark got Joe's support for his new
Iron
guy,
neck?
but missed a shab.
What is iron
and he wasn't
neck?
buying it.
Don't wanna know.
Brendan saw right through Mark's new guy transition and refused to recognize it.
You had Zuckerberg on, and he goes, I hunt.
Oh, no.
I went like this, yes.
Joe's not having it and jumps in to defend Mark, his new guy.
Whoa, hold on.
Do you?
No,
what kind of bow do you use?
I think he did. He just forgot his bow.
Oh,
he forgot the name of his bow.
Zuckerberg 2.0, and I love it.
And of course, Brian defends the new guy transition as well, to appease his lord. It's all kind of coming together for Joe, I guess. All these guys are becoming new guys all over the place, using Joe's blueprint as a guide. Back before he completed his transition, Joe was dreaming about all of this happening. And since he knows how difficult it can be, navigating society as a new guy and all the criticism you get